So, can all of you remember the beginning of Xenoverse 1 and how that was like, right? Aside from all the bugs and whatnot, what majority of the people complained about and all that other stuff. And, you know, it was a bunch of bugs. It had to be fixed. That just wasn't a balancing issue. That shit was glitches, fucking infinite health disease souls, fucking overpowered regen, health regen, damn near for Namekians, especially for them. You know, all of that. That was just the beginning of Xenoverse 1. But what people tend to forget is what was the majority of the races? What was the primary race of the beginning of Xenoverse 1? So at the release of Xenoverse 1, everybody was, well, majority of the people were Saiyans. Alright, there was a good reason to be a Saiyan. They was the only race that had their own transformation, and they can fucking spam any move in the game once they went Super Saiyan. And this just opened up a bunch of opportunity to pretend like you're good and transform and pretend you're like you're in the show. Go Super Saiyan, fire a fucking spear bomb or some shit like that, you know? That was what people wanted to do. And that's just how the beginning of Xenoverse 2 is. There's an abundance of Saiyans that all go Super Saiyan and they tend to spam something, you know? That's exactly how, you see how they correlate, right? So, to me, I think that the beginning and end of Xenoverse 1 is exactly how Xenoverse 2 is gonna end. Alright, so let's take a trip back straight into Xenoverse 1. So, the beginning of the game, majority of the people were Saiyans. They spammed something. Those moves got patched. They were still Saiyans. They still spammed at least something. But majority of them, they moved on to something else. They moved on, so now there was some more diversity. Majority went to the Namekians because they had godlike health regen, and at that point it did not matter what you were using because they had that Bwahaha, thanks for energy Z soul and whatnot. So they had all that, and then once they cleared up all that and all those fucking bugs, like god mode bugs, that's what I want to call them. Everybody it was pretty diverse. It was pretty balanced. Nobody was just one race. And so towards the end, it just wasn't the races that changed. It was the people stats and their fighting style. So it went from key blasting, spamming sand to whatnot into like hybrids and shit. And then all of a sudden, once all the key blast moves got patched, then the strike move, like people just went straight to strikes. Evil Rise, Shining Slash, Freedom Kick, Evil Whirlwind, Super Drain, Justice Combination. These were the moves. As soon as Key got patched, they all went to Strike because they needed some broken ass move to spam. Then once all that got patched, what did people go to? Basic Attack. Basic Attack. Everybody was a fucking basic attacker. And that was just the stats that changed. The moves that people used, they were basically the same. Like for Key, it was Milky Cannon, Death Ball, Super Electric Strike, Death Beam, Gravity Impact, Special Beam Cannon. It was all these moves. Super Vanishing Ball. It was all these moves. And then it went to Basic Attack. And you can't really do anything in Basic Attack, but you still have a move set. Majority was After Image, Rise to Action, 2 extra moves, and then that was it. Possibly a transformation. That was all you pretty much needed. And also, towards the end, the way people played was try to get off as quickly, try to get off of Infinite as quickly as possible. Doesn't matter what Z-Soul you use, just as quickly as possible. Just try to get this man life bar away with 100 and fucking basic attack. 120 actually. And God forbid 150 with some of those Z-Souls. So that's how it was. But then the races, like I already been over, it just went from straight all Saiyans to diverse, like a mix it up, into straight humans. That's what everybody was, because this is the reason why, alright? At the beginning of the game, everybody was complaining about something about the races. But the one race that did not get patched, or like even touched, or even thought about, mentioned to Bandai throughout that whole Xenoverse 1 thing, was humans. Nobody complained about them. So if you go on Xenoverse 1 right now, you will basically be playing with a day 1 human that never got touched, nor patched, nor fixed at all. That was a day 1 human. That basically a living reminiscent of how broken Xenoverse 1 was at the beginning, and it still is. But now we're on Xenoverse 2, and the correlations are pretty deadly. Everyone's a Saiyan, majority of people are saying, they all transform 90% of the time just to spam something, regardless if it be God of Destruction's Anger or Final Kamehameha, Soul Punisher, Punisher Drive. You know, they got all this shit. They patched a number of Ki Blast moves, and whether it be fixed or glitched or actually patching to where it's not broken anymore, that's just how it is. They patched, they fooled with Ki Blast moves, and then it's gonna go into some strike moves. I already feel like some strike moves are gonna get patched already. And the fact, that's exactly how Xenoverse 1 was. Except, maybe we can learn from our fucking mistakes and not complain about every shit. And if you're gonna complain about something, consider everything, not just some shit that you've seen. Because the way it's looking, it looks like humans are gonna, like, humans right now, they're pretty fucking balanced. But towards the end, they're not gonna get fucking touched. And Bandai won't update this game anymore. And then it'll be the same situation again. Everybody's gonna go to humans. And they're also gonna complain about them. And it's simple as that. So hopefully, this is not the case for Xenoverse 2. And hopefully, if you're gonna complain about a race or whatnot, you gotta consider all of them. Humans, they're pretty balanced right now. They don't have the highest basic. They don't have the highest ki. Well, male humans rather. They don't have the highest basic ki. They have the highest strike, and that's pretty much it. Now, they do have easier combos, and they're not necessarily easy, but you can get the feel of them pretty fluently. Not, I mean, some races are pretty fucking easy. Like female Saiyans, like that's real. Tap square like 3-4 times, you're already juggling them in the air with a bunch of uppercuts, you know. But that's my take on it, and that's my like prediction and shit. And hopefully it doesn't come to this. But if it happens, and to where like it's exactly like the end of Xenoverse 1, I'm gonna refer back to this fucking video, and I'm gonna fucking laugh so hard.